So hello everybody. So welcome to this lecture on SOC design flow in which we are going to discuss about the spiral model of SOC design. Okay. So last time we talked about the waterfall model and we understood that there are certain shortcomings. To just list the important ones, the first shortcoming is that in this case we assume that there are clean handoffs from one phase to another, which is not the case. Okay, we cannot expect the output of a phase to be perfect when we are designing a complex system. Next important thing was at the DSM level, when we are going to design a system on chip, if we are talking about the current circuits or the current systems, they are nearly having hundreds of millions of transistors coming on a single chip on a few millimeter square area. So that the physical design issues, they need an early consideration so that the faults or certain shortcomings, they are not propagated to the advanced stage of design where it may lead to bigger losses in the terms of times as well as in the terms of your manufacturing costs. So that required that there must be the procedure or provision of modifying the design specification or maybe the RTL model or maybe the synthesis model whenever we are facing certain shortcoming or we are able to identify that. So that was very, very important, which was missing in the waterfall model because it didn't have any provision of going from one phase to the previous phase. We were assuming that in the one pass, my design is going to move perfectly. So it was okay when our designs were predictable and the technology we were using at, that was limited to only few thousands of transistors. Okay, but otherwise it was not very successful. And the very important third shortcoming which it was facing was it was moving in a serial fashion. So when I'm going to talk about a very complex design, the time to market that would increase drastically when we are moving in a serial fashion. So concurrency, some parallelism in the design approach has to be there. So with these shortcomings identified, a new model was suggested, which is known as your spiral model. The key to the spiral model was parallelism. So it maintains the parallel interfacing between the different design phases. So for that, four main design phases they were identified. First is the physical design phase. Okay, so this is by physical design phase. I should come here. Then it is by first one is by physical design phase. Then we are having our synthesis and timing phase, then our RTL and verification phase, and finally we are having a software phase. Okay, so for implementing this model, four main phases they were identified. Okay, so first is by hardware phase, which is RTL and verification, where the RTL of the module uh, after partitioning is identified, it is verified. Then the output of this, it is moving to the physical design phase, followed by synthesis and timing, then by the software. And so at each stage, we are interfacing one module or the one part of the design which has been completed. And we are interfacing at all the four levels and then moving to the next stage. So let's try and understand coming to your this RTL and verification, that is the hardware phase, starting with this. So we start with the specification and the architecture based on that. So that is actually decomposed or that is decomposed into macros or into modules and followed by the RTL coding of these modules. Then these modules, they are actually going from this RTL stage after verification. So let's try to understand this. So starting with the first, that is in the hardware phase, the RTL and the verification. So in this, we first start with the architecture, which is decomposed into the sub-modules. Okay. So when the modules are there, now from this stage where the modules have been identified, we move from this to the physical design phase where we are actually going for the specifications which are there. When I talk about specifications, I am talking about how much area, what clock frequency we are requiring, okay, what library will be used for that, and so on. From that, we move to the synthesis at the timing stage or the phase. In this, the constraints they are being identified, and once this hardware three stages of the hardware they are interfaced, we go to the application part. Okay, wherein the application prototype is being identified. Okay, what language has to be used, what type of model it is going to be using, what is requirement of that, and so on. So prototype development stage is there. Coming to the next phase, again coming back to your hardware, where we are now designing or writing the RTL code for the modules, or maybe using the macros or the IPs or the blocks which are pre-designed. Okay, these after this stage, it is interfaced to the physical stage where we go for the preliminary floor planning using these modules. So a preliminary floor plan which needs some modification is being designed. Okay. So after that we go to our synthesis and timing where the block level synthesis is being carried out. Okay. The block timings they are being tested. And after that, we move to the application where prototype testing of the application or the software is being done. Coming to the third stage, where we are now going for the block verification or the verification, functional verification of the RTL code we have developed for the modules, individual modules. And parallelly, this is being given to the physical design phase. When the updated floor planning is done, clocks are being inserted, placement is being finalized, layout is being done. So this is followed by your top level synthesis, okay, placement and the timing analysis. Then we go for your application development in the software. So likewise, we are moving in a spiral, we can see. So from this hardware design to the physical design, that is more of the backend part, coming to the synthesis part, and then we have the software. So all is being done in phases. So lot of concurrency, lot of parallelism is being involved. So parallelism and module by module development is the key here in case of the spiral model. So basically it is making use of the incremental design approach, which is very, very helpful in designing the complex systems because it saves a lot of time and it helps in saving the hierarchical approach. It helps in basically reducing the complexity of the system to quite a smaller level. So this is another representation of the spiral model wherein we are representing the four phases, and this is how we are actually representing the interfaces between the different stages. Okay, so as we move in this direction, the time it is actually increasing, and these four phases they are moving in parallel. So it all starts with specification and it ends at final place and route and the tape out stage, and the integration, obviously the integration and the timing verification is coming at the end at this stage. So this is just another way of representing what we have already discussed in the spiral model. So this is an aggressive design approach. Okay, relative to this waterfall model, which was used, wherein the algorithms for subblocks, the specifications, the software, the timing budget, they run in parallel, and finally they are integrated and verified as a system. So there was a lot of improvement which was seen as compared to the waterfall model, but still we needed certain provision of modifying the shortcomings in one phase and moving back to the previous phase, removing those shortcomings early at the stage, which was again not addressed in case of the spiral model. So this led to actually the development of the top-down and the bottom-up approaches, which we will discuss in the next lecture. So thank you so much. The next lecture will discuss about the top-down and the bottom-up approach. Thank you.